Hello, hello everybody, Briefcase bringing you the first Ancient Trials tournament, straight out of Vancouver. Alright, pardon me 1 second as I figure out some technical difficulties at this one, just for one moment.
10 seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban.
And I'm back! Okay, so sorry about that, everybody. I was getting a little bit of echo over on my end, but nonetheless, I have fixed the issue. And now, let's get into this actual game. On the Dire side, we have DnB playing, not sure if it stands for anything. While on the Radiant side, we have Cupcakes. Simple as that. Cutest name you could possibly have. But now we have Cupcakes banning out Elder Titan as well as Rubik. Of course, Elder Titan not as potent of a hero as he once was before 6.79. Nonetheless, is still very early ban material or pickups. They've also banned out Rubik, of course, which really makes me sad, seeing as how he is my absolute favorite hero in the whole game, and would love to see some mid Rubiks, would love to see some sweet ag pickups, but nonetheless, not going to be seeing that this time around. DnB, however, have banned out Silencer and Leviathan, of all things, Tidebringer. Or I should say Tidehunter of all things. Very odd, in fact. You pretty much never want to use your first ban on a Silencer. He's usually just not worth it, and nobody's going to actually ban him out. You might be banning him out simply because he absolutely shuts down one of your combos or you have some sort of very tricky strat going on. But nonetheless, a very odd ban out of DnB. Not the end of the world, however. They have banned out Levy, banning out that Tidehunter, of course. Very strong ulti for him. Still, though, usually you ban out not Leviathan. Nonetheless, some weird bans, and I was expecting some weird bans and pickups, so nonetheless, it's exactly what I want to see. We also have Cupcake, has picked up a first pick Clockwork of all things. Lich is still in the pool, very much one of the strongest heroes in this last patch, but now we have DnB has picked Death Prophet as well as Juggernaut as their first two pickups, so getting their mid hero more likely than not, as well as their late game carry, who's actually quite good at pushing as well, and maybe that's exactly what we're seeing out of this team. Maybe they're going for a sort of about level 6, 9-minute push strat. From Death Prophet, you have, of course, Exorcism. With Juggernaut, you have that Healing Ward, and I would not be surprised if we see the rest of these heroes taking up some very nice pushing heroes here. Something along the lines of, you got your Coddles. Who else? You have your Leshrac for Diabolic to Eat It, taking those incredibly early towers. Clockwork, however, a very good anti-push hero just in and of himself. Putting down some cogs right in front of the tower can really interrupt a lot of the damage you would normally do to them, not to mention his ability to kind of keep lanes pushed out with his flare, rocket flare, whenever he wants. And now an Invoker being picked up, absolutely lovely. Always a terrific time to see an Invoker in a game, and if he is played well, I'm gonna be loving every minute of this game so far. Nature's Prophet now has been banned out by Cupcake, of course, trying to limit exactly it looks like maybe getting a little wise to what they might want to go for. And of course, Nature's Prophet incredibly good at split pushing and pushing in general, so just getting rid of at least one more very strong push hero in this lineup. However, we have DnB banning out Lifestealer now, seeing as how Cupcakes does not have a hard and fast carry for them yet. A fairly good pickup now, banning out Enigma as well. Of course, not wanting to let through any of those big ultis, it seems. There are still a few available, however. But now Crystal Maiden being picked up, oddly enough. Not so much of a pushing hero, more of a roaming ganker and tri-lane hero. So kind of a weird pickup. Don't know exactly where DnB is going with this. Nonetheless, as far as how their lineup actually goes, it's looking a-okay. Now a sniper of all things being picked up by Cupcakes, and this hero is just never sees play in any tournaments. He has absolutely no escape mechanism. He needs to be really wary, but so far there are no kind of cloak and dagger heroes on DnB's half of the board. So I mean, Sniper will be relatively safe, of course. Smoked up Crystal Maiden can be very scary, but Juggernaut, Death Prophet, and Necrolite, I mean, I suppose Necrolite has one guaranteed stun, but you don't want to use it on Sniper just to catch him. So they only really have one slow at the moment with Crystal Maiden. They have Frostbite to trap as well, have that CC in that regard, Necrolite's ult as well, but they really lack any way to chase. Comparatively to Cupcakes lineup of Sniper having headshot, he does have shrapnel. A lot of people skip it. Nonetheless, he's a good pickup. Invoker, Cold Snap, amazing, and Clockwork, of course, shoots out of nowhere and really guarantees and sets up some nice kills and has some beautiful initiation. Not sure exactly how DnB is going to initiate against this team, but now Nyx Assassin being picked up by Cupcakes.
10 seconds remaining.
And overall, I think a fairly good pickup. There aren't too many low health heroes, Necrolite and Death Prophet being intelligence heroes, of course, but usually become quite bulky. Both of them love to go Bloodstone and get that huge amount of HP and HP regen. So Nyx Assassin might wane a little bit against those heroes. Crystal Maiden will need to be incredibly scared the entire game of Nyx Assassin, not to mention the amount of possible ganks that this Cupcakes team can throw out. Clockwork throwing that ult out, you combine that with a Sunstrike, dead hero. Sniper throwing out his ult, combine that with a Sunstrike or Nyx Assassin showing up in the right time, perfect. And just the amount of single target DPS and gigantic nukes at the disposal of this Radiant team of Cupcake is incredible, especially against someone like Crystal Maiden. Juggernaut will have a better time, of course, with his spin, but nonetheless, we have DnB picking up a Warlock, of course, was recently nerfed in the last patch. His ult no longer does 100 damage to everybody, it innately hits. It still has a stun, though, that does indeed go through BKB. Not that any one of these heroes on Cupcake are a BKB holder, but nonetheless, a fairly good pickup. And now picking up a Razor of all things, I think it's a little odd indeed. I mean, a fairly good mid. Usually you get Razor, however, against a team very heavy with single target nukes because of that unstable current, just purging everybody down and slowing them all down. But really, I mean, as far as single target nukes, do you have Warlock maybe, Necrolite maybe, Crystal Maiden sure, Juggernaut none, and Death Prophet none as well. So I think a very odd pickup. They do seem like they have a very strong ganking lineup, however, Cupcake. So I think they're gonna really need to take that advantage early, press the advantage, of course, be very aggressive with the Nyx Assassin, who, I mean, might be running a tri-lane, just protecting Razor, and Sniper might be going in, but of course Invoker's always there, so nonetheless, interesting to see how exactly this will play out, and we'll see all the while. But as far as who is playing who, we have the Mangler playing as Necrolite, High playing as Death Prophet, Drizz playing as the Juggernaut, Twilight Sparkle is the Warlock, and Zombie Christ is going to be playing as the Crystal Maiden here. However, on Cupcake, we have Bui playing as the Sniper. Nice little set on him right there. We have W playing the Invoker, is going to be going mid with that item build. I wouldn't be surprised. We have Tilted going as the Clockwork. Might be solo top, not sure. Dual lanes are incredibly good now since this last patch, and it seems like the normal thing. We have Princess Heart. I should probably change that, shouldn't I? We have Princess going as the Nyx Assassin, and then we have Nathaximus going as the Razor. So excuse me, everybody, I'll just put it right on the Invoker for now, and then I'll change that setting like I just said.
Invisibility.
And there we go. That should be quite a bit better now, I suspect. 2-minute delay. Now, let's see as far as things are going. We do indeed have 2 dual lanes going on here. And we have Bowie has picked up the invis, looking for a little bit of a first blood. There's not too much music coming out of here. There it is. There's the sound effects. They have come back. So sorry about that. Something that can happen when you interrupt a stream because there's 0 delay. Nathaximus now doing his very best to get those last hits. They are not leveling up Princess, or at the very least giving him the farm. And it looks like they want to get an early 6 on Twilight Sparkle. And this is where Princess should really be up there harassing the ever loving shit out of him when it comes right down to it. Bowie now trying to do his very best. Shrapnel, though, skilled up instead of Headshot, oddly enough. Would have done so much more damage with Headshot. If this had been a Cold Snap, that might have been a Dead Nature's Prophet, or Death Prophet in the mid. Nonetheless, however, we have Tilted up here going and doing that solo lane now. It looks like we actually have a roaming sniper of all things. Very odd, this lineup so far. Nonetheless, DnB, though, is getting targeted by that tower. He already has his boots. He might have looked like he was wanting to go for an early Blade Fury kill. Nonetheless, with Crystal Maiden, a classic combo, of course. You have Crystal Nova, you have your Juggernaut, and you go for those early spins on heroes. But against someone like a Clockwork, it is just not going to work. You power cogs once, even if you trap him in there with you, you just hit it one away, and you just get all the way out of there. Nathaximus, though, doing his very best to last hit. He's actually doing fine. He's sitting at 5. However, you do have W, though, completely destroying this mid. High only having 1 last hit. W getting nice 10 denies on him so far. He is doing magnificently in that regard so far. Now Bowie just trying to bully Twilight Sparkle out of this lane, and really, Sniper is a very good bullier. He's very good at harassing whenever he needs to, but really, this skill point, that should be in Headshot most definitely. Even getting one headshot this early on pretty much guarantees you're going to get at least another attack in, and then that's pretty much another headshot. Now you have Princess running up here. He needs to really go in and harass Twilight Sparkle out of EXP range. Not even sure if he is in EXP range. Nonetheless, he really does need to keep on him here and harass him all day long. Clockwork, of course, getting all the levels he could ever want. He's doing fine, just fine. Might even want to start throwing out some rocket flares into the mid, just helping W have even more control of this area. And no bottle yet coming out from either of these 2 mids. Death Prophet, though, usually does pick up one, because when you do scale up Witchcraft, of course, you get that movement speed boost, and you have the ability to control runes, at least against someone like an Invoker, who, I don't know if you all know this, he is one of the slowest heroes in the game. Most people just don't realize that, because you get so many points in Wex, and you have them up all the time, that it can be he can be very, very quick. Now Bowie doing the pull through. They have thrown down a Sunstrike, not hitting enough though. You do have Nathaximus though stealing all the damage, and Twilight Sparkle is gonna fall here, guaranteed. And there's the first blood going to Nathaximus, and that is not what you want to see when your Drizz, your Juggernaut, is already pretty much at half health against Tilted. He should be throwing out rocket flares here pretty much all day, harassing Drizz down. He doesn't have that much regen. I mean, when your tri-lane isn't getting any amount of kills in the opposition or the opposing team that is not what you want to see happen. And this actually looks like a support sniper of all things at the moment. Maybe transitioning into something like a carry a little bit later on in the game, but nonetheless. And we do have an Exort and Quas Invoker going and doing his very best there now as well. Still no bottle out, it looks like. High not having his bottle yet, actually. Still only has a Boots of Speed, and now Princess trying to do some work here. Does get the Impale. It was a little bit offside, but the Flame Strike guaranteeing that kill, or I should say Sunstrike, guaranteeing that kill for Cupcake, and now they are leading this game. They're already sitting at 1,000 gold advantage, only 5 minutes in, and I'd love to see this Invoker go for that minus. And now we have Tilted. He's trying some work to, but of course with these creeps here, it's going to be very difficult for him to rely on that RNG of Battery Assault, and going the definite escape route. He is going to be able to cogs his way out of this one with absolutely no fear of getting chased here. And now he should be going wee all the way home. Let's see if he's going to play it greedy, however. Might just return to lane. Try and bolster up on the regen, maybe get some regen actually ferried out to him. They do have their flying courier now right on time, right at the 3-minute mark, or maybe not nonetheless. They do have their flying courier, and still no flying courier. It's been possible to buy one for 2 minutes now. Still no flying courier for this dire side, and W just stacking up on the gold. He's probably going for, I would hope for, a Midas. Otherwise, this is some weird misplay, I gotta say. Not spending your gold, that is not something you usually want to see. Now, can they get the deny? Oh, can't quite get it, nonetheless. And now they are diving heavily onto the Mangler DnB. And where is that Sunstrike? It's not going to land, however. Buoy, though, with no points in headshot, it does indeed look like it is a harassy, shrapnel kind of sniper here. And now they should definitely fight this. Not sure too much about why they're running. A simple static link would do it, of course. And now the amount of stuns they have, that's going to be another kill for this team. And up top, Cupcake is doing fine, only with 6 last hits, however, doing fairly poorly in that regard. W, oddly enough, auto-attacking, but he just wants to guarantee those last hits. He is doing great in the denies, however, denying nobody because there's nobody here on the dire side, so he actually doesn't need to spend too much time or effort doing that. He has picked up his Midas, however, and now he should be running down to this hard camp and getting that big creep. And of course, on Invoker, that's exactly what you want. It's more about the plus experience for Invoker than it is about the plus gold. So playing that nicely right there. Now Buoy getting a nice amount of experience on the bot lane. Of course, he has been a part of a few kills here. Now Nathaximus and Buoy just using that shrapnel to slow down rather than actually just get vision, and very odd. And now we have Tilted. He has hit level 6, and now it looks like High in a horrible position to be in. They definitely want to go on him. Tilted maybe not too confident in his hookshot ability. They have to see him now, though. W needs to move up, use that Flame Strike, use that Cold Snap, and now just going in for the easy cogs. Misses it nonetheless. This gank is still gonna hit, however, and the Sunstrike guaranteeing it as well. While that's all going down, though, we have Nathaximus as well as Buoy just trying to pressure these two heroes out of lane. They're doing a-okay, of course, and as far as the skill builds are concerned, it looks like they have picked up Juggernaut's Blade Fury. No points hit into Blade Dance, and this is usually what you want to see, of course. Blade Fury just too strong early on to give up, not to mention Healing Ward, if left uncontested, can let you push some very early towers, and it can be very, very strong in that regard as well. So despite Tilted's slightly weak cogs in the mid, of course you did indeed have Princess there to pick up the slack, getting that nice impale off, getting that mana burn off as well, and just guaranteeing that kill there. W now will be running all the way home. Looks like he is actually opted to get 1 point into Wex beyond getting 4 and 4 in Exort and Quas, which is kind of an odd thing. Usually you see Invokers go 404 early on because it gives you 2 Forge Spirits, which early on are almost as strong as heroes when it comes down to it. And now it looks like Tilted and Princess need to be careful here. But of course, like I said in the draft, this dire team, DnB, has absolutely no way to ensnare, no way to just take anybody down. You have Crystal Maiden here, but then these 3 other heroes, they can't actually do anything. And now Twilight Sparkle is here as well. It does indeed look like they want to at least push this top tower.
Radiant's top tower is under
And of course, with no TPs coming in, Buoy does indeed have one. Nathaximus should probably just stay down bot and farm as best he can. Maybe go tradey on this tower, but there's that Exorcism being so strong here. There's the Healing Ward as well. It really provides you a huge amount of early push ability in this game, and now it looks like Buoy actually walking the entire distance here. A little odd, he is not quite 6 yet, however, meaning that things are going to be a little bit harder for him to pick up kills. And once Princess as well as Buoy pick up those level 6s, they should really be working on that. I think we're going to be seeing a lot more kills here. And now it looks like DnB, the start of their strategy coming together. Of course, Exorcism is going to be on cooldown for quite a while now, as well as Healing Ward, a very long cooldown indeed, a minute long on Healing Ward. But now it looks like they just want to push in, try and get this other tower. There is indeed 6 on Twilight Sparkle, which is very menacing, of course, but with the amount of spells that this Invoker can churn out, and does not quite have level 2 Forge Spirit, or does not quite have 4 spirits, double Forge Spirits at the moment. So a little bit scary, but nonetheless, I mean, Cupcake in a perfect and a terrific position to go against these pushes, and if they had just not grouped up here, they just kept getting more out of the map than this team, than DnB. Now, Juggernaut ulting in, nothing coming of it, however. Tilt getting in there, a nice hook shot, it's not going to be enough. Mangler does fall, Tilted, getting spun to death, however. DnB is going to get towered. Can't quite get away. Nethaximus, though, stealing a lot of damage here. He's got plus 168, but this Golem doing a lot of work now as well. And those are some big bloods. Zombie Christ is going to fall here. Not even to a Flame Strike. Princess has hit his 6. They always do have Assassinate available if things get a little prickly. But nonetheless, a very good trade for Cupcake. DnB not playing at the top of their game.
Tower is under attack.
Now W should be fine, just fine here. He has an Invoke. He can always Ghost Walk if things get out of control. And does he? He does indeed invoke a Ghost Walk. He's actually still taking quite a bit of damage, spending a lot of time to not actually do it. Maybe trying to guilt out a kill here. And now with Buey here, he should continue to auto-attack him. Flame Strike is going to do a lot of damage. Can Buey get the ult out? And that's going to be a dead Juggernaut, of course. No spin available to stop that Assassinate right there. And while this is all going on, we have Nethaximus going and farming bot as best he can. As we saw by that, as we see in the gold graph, that team fight right there going slightly in favor a little bit of this dire team of DnB, but that was pretty much just the early portions of this team fight. In fact, most of this team, there's the team fight right there, most of this team fight going in favor of Cupcake. If we look at the experience as well, a massive lead, 7,500 roughly now, and it looks like DnB, possibly their strategy falling apart just a little bit. As I said before, you get much more out of the map the more spread out you are. You have Tilted up here, he's farming, at least he's getting some farm here, he's getting a lot of experience. However, you have Nethaximus, the carry of this game pretty much, getting lots and lots of farm on this bot lane, and he can always TP in if things get a little hairy. He's going right into the fray of it, however, right into some cogs. Actually, it's, well, of course, they are his cogs, though. Now 2 melting already, and there's going to be a static link on high. He will fall here. I don't see him getting out. While that's all happening, you have Warlock Twilight. Oh, what was his name? Twilight Sparkle. Yes, it was. Twilight Sparkle getting caught out by the supports of this Radiant team of Cupcake. And now Princess spots the double damage room. He's not going to take it, however. And now it looks like Nethaximus needs to be very careful here about these towers. They do not have any sort of global AoE, but Buey now actually opted to only get 1 point into headshot, seeing as how this is a support sniper of all things. Very odd lineup. Very odd how everybody's playing. Nonetheless, you have Invoker has picked up a Blink Dagger, and that is fairly early. 13 minutes and 30 seconds. Of course, a fairly early Blink Dagger. Very nice, however. And now Forge Spirits. Looks like he's trying to pull the creeps away. Was not quite able to do that. He is using Alacrity nicely, though. You usually don't see that too much, seeing as how once you don't have too many points in Wex, it doesn't seem all that much worth it, but nonetheless does have 2 Forge Spirits, and 2 Forge Spirits alone are going to be able to pretty much destroy anybody on this dire team. Look at him, he's just sticking them on Twilight Sparkle, and he's almost dead already. A little bit of connectivity issues now going for Nethaximus. Nonetheless, looks like he might have just dropped, and we will just describe and talk about item choices now and ability choices. Or we won't, because he's already back. Nonetheless, don't even need to get into that at least slightly boring territory. We'll see exactly how that goes nonetheless. Gives me a chance to drink, though. Alright. Now, Mangler woefully underfarmed at this moment. Just look how little money he has. He's actually the lowest, and looks he's behind Crystal Maiden of all things. And there's the Forge Spirits. And now it looks like a little bit of lag nonetheless. And a Flame Strike completely whiffing. Maybe a bit of lag there, not too sure. But DnB now, Drizz, He's only level 6. He should be much, much higher. And now tilted a nice hook in. It's not going to be enough, though. Cogs, though, along with these Force Spirits, are going to be doing a lot of work. Princess wants to get one stun. He gets only Mangler. It's not going to be enough, though. High pops the Exorcism. Things are going quite pear-shaped now for Cupcake. High just out of shrapnel range. Can't quite get it. And now you have Buey. He really wants to assassinate him. And if High does get back here before these spirits do, I mean, he's probably going to get shot right in the face. Now in runs Nathaximus. He does have double damage. He should be fighting this. Takes one shot on the Mangler. He just needs to man fight this. He probably would have died, but could have taken 3 for it. Gets a free kill on the Crystal Maiden. However, Drizzt is here. Completely didn't see him. Was getting overshadowed by that golem. And now throwing down a Flame Strike. It does indeed hit. I should say Sunstrike. Now the Blink Dagger as well. He actually pops Alacrity of all things instead. And oh, there's that RNG. That slight amount of mischance from going up onto the high ground, of course. You do not have a 100% chance to hit up that one. And just saving Drizz's life ever so slightly there. Like I was saying, if we look at these kills and deaths, we have this Radiant team doing far better. They're sitting at 17 compared to 5. If we look at the last hits, they're doing great as well. Well, minus Nyx Assassin, of course. But nonetheless, if we look at the levels, that is the most telling graph, or the very least statistic, that I could show you this entire match. The carry on the dire side, Drizzt, is actually a lower level than the supports, the pretty much die-hard support Princess, who only has 2 last hits here. He's actually a lower level than this Nyx Assassin, and that just goes to show you how low this team is at the moment. And now, well, of course, he is getting his damage stolen by that Static Link. It is very scary. Plus 84 right now is going for that BKB here. Understandably, most of their damage coming out at the moment by DnB is going to be magic damage, but right now it definitely looks like this Radiant team have this very handedly. Up to 12,000 more experience, and this is what I'm talking about when you go all in into these push strats where you group up like this. When you see this, when you see these kinds of push strats, everybody goes all in, and the gold might be relatively the same, usually not, it's usually a little bit more in favor. And now nonetheless, DnB, though, he does pop in, he's getting a nice spin off, but he's gonna fall. Alacrity, the bane of his existence. W does fall, however. Buey wants to get a kill. 1 invoker so far. Princess, though, not falling at all. Nathaximus just doing a huge amount of work in that fight. His ult as well as Static Link, not to mention Plasma Field, doing amazingly there. And now the gold and experience graph just climbing even more in favor of Cupcake. Now pushing their advantage here, gonna take this bottom tower, and that is completely free, not to mention a complete team wipe. Nathaximus, there he does indeed know how to get the aggro off of him, and just goes for the attack of a creep. That's how you do it. If this port-in continues, that's gonna be a dead Juggernaut. There's no way out of this one. He is indeed trapped. Nathaximus should have gotten out of there, but he's just going to destroy him here as well. Nathaximus, though, doing a lot of work. Is he going to fall? 2 auto attacks. It's not going to be enough. Throws out the Plasma Field. Princess body blocking him very nicely, though. Just making sure that he is as close to death as humanly possible. Mangler really wants him. Does not have the speed to go up against him, though. And Nathaximus, though, is going to get away scot-free. Now W pushing in this mid with these Forge Spears. Clockwork, of all people, actually has a surprisingly low amount of net worth at the moment. Still has most of the items he really needs to be useful in this game, however. And it looks like, yes, indeed, W picks up a completely free tower. Looks like he's actually going for an Orchid, of all things. Oddly enough, is going more as an initiator than anything else. Can always tornado, of course, blinks in Orchids whoever he needs to. And of course, any single one of these heroes is pretty much doomed without their Orchid. And this is what I'm saying. They keep grouping up as 5. This is not how you want to play this game. And this just goes to show you, once again, I'll just exemplify it with the graph. Gold, usually, if you do group up as 5 and you're taking towers early, you're maybe getting some nice kills. So the gold can equalize very, very easily and very, very quickly. However, when you look at experience, I mean, it just goes to show you the more that you group up, the less experience you're all getting, and the less out of the entire map you're getting. So because of that, because you have Nathaximus doing his best here, because you have Bowie down here, along with Tilted getting some farm, not to mention you had Invoker up here getting farm experience as well. You don't need to rotate all 5 heroes here. And now you have Nathaximus, he's pushing bot, and now while this is happening, he's just gonna force some TPs. And they're just getting so much more out of this map than this Dire team. DnB just getting a little bit outclassed in this map awareness at the moment. Razor now has actually picked up a Mask of Madness of all things, for feeling very cocky. Usually you don't want to pick this up. He's actually not that tanky of a hero. A nice Sanjin Yash on him really does bulk him up quite nicely, or various other things, but nonetheless doing fine, just fine. Bowie has picked up only 1 more point in Assassinate, is actually still opting not to get any more points in Headshot, and he is going a completely true support sniper of all things. Very odd, nonetheless, a fairly nice play here as well. And now Invoker very close to that Orchid. It's not going to open this game wide up compared to some other items. I would have liked to seen an Ags, I think, beyond all other things. Nonetheless, you do have Princess here helping him get this Roche, and of course with Forge Spirits it just makes it so easy. Of course their Flame Strike or Melting Strike does not actually affect Roshan, as that would be completely and utterly OP. Nonetheless, you have these 2 heroes, you have Tilted as well as Bowie. They're pretty much defending against 5, and now looks like he was indeed going to get caught out there just a little bit, but not so much anymore. He is indeed going to be microing these a little bit nicely, getting that rune, just making sure that nobody can chase him there. Now Princess is looking around, seeing if he can't make a little bit something happen. And Driz throwing out the spin, thinking maybe that Assassinate was coming for him. A little bit of slow reaction time from him, however. Now, indeed, it looks like they realize, you know what, there's 1 more tier 1 available, we can take this. But while that's all happening, you have High with no TP. Driz doesn't have one either. Zombie Christ does. Twilight does not either. Mangler does, however. And then you have Nathaximus. He's going to be up here, and he's going to be pushing this tower. And you're going to be trading a tier 1 for a 2 tier. And you might be even trading a tier 3. They really need to come back here and fight this. One of them realizes that at the very least, you do have High picking up TP now, but there is not going to be a lot they can do here even, and Nathaximus is going to take this free tier 2. They've taken the free tier 3 of all things, and now they can't even find a kill. They have no way to chase. Driz, though, does pour it in. He throws out the spin. He's getting some nice spins out. It's not going to be enough, however, and now they just want to take out these Forge Spirits, making sure, and sitting at 23 to 7 kills, sitting at about 20,000 in gold and experience difference, and I just do not see how DnB can come back from this. They don't have the heroes. Juggernaut, as far as a late game carry, he's not going to win. I mean, in a man fight, he might not even win against a Sniper. Now, Sniper throwing an Assassinate, getting a completely free kill on that Crystal Maiden, throwing out the Warlock ult, however. Princess, though, force staffing away. Driz has his name all over it, is going to catch him out, however. Exorcism is down. A nice hook shot in now. He is caught in with a golem, but it falls so quickly to Nathaximus's 168 free damage. And now I would not be surprised if a GG is going to be called as soon as possible. And now Cupcake just cleaning up as best they can. Nathaximus, that damage is no longer on him. Nonetheless, is sitting at 4,500 gold. That Orchid is finished now on W. He's got a spare 2,700 in his bank. He only needs 1,500 more to get that Ags, so he should be doing that fairly shortly, I would expect. Brewy doing his very best. Is actually doing quite a bit of tower damage with Shrapnel. Not sure. Does 33% damage to towers. And now Driz trying to pick off some kills. Nathaximus, though, no static link available on him. He got out of there too quick. W will fall here, but of course he did have the Aegis. Nathaximus needs to get out of here. Tower will get him, however. And now it looks like Tilted is going to be running for his very life. W realizing he can just fight this easily, and Assassinate is there to clean up. Jesus Christ. And W now looks like he's going to get a free kill on the Warlock. He is getting targeted here, and now won't even fall, and he is just commanding these fights. Should sick, yes he does, six that Forge Spirit onto him. Now he's going to get the free ward as well, and if Driz wants to go in and fight this, there's not actually much that he can do here. Now W should be getting that Ags fairly quickly, I would expect. Buey actually smoking up, guaranteeing that everybody gets away scot-free. And now actually he's picked up a casual Vit booster of all things, understandably in a slight way as well. They just don't have enough burst coming out of this Dire team. DnB does not have the burst available to really take down anybody who has 1,000 or more HP at the moment. And now W having max into Exhort, he's gonna be doing a lot of damage. I think Alacrity does, how much does Alacrity do? 80 plus damage, not to mention the innate amount from Exhort. And now he has skilled up that Tornado. He's actually got another Oblivion Staff of all things. Looks like he's gonna be going Refresher, oddly enough. Refresher without an Aghanims. I suppose that can work. Nonetheless, it really only does work go into 2 things, so a very possible pickup there for him. Now Princess is gonna find Drizz. He wants to go on this for sure, I guarantee it, but he will find High instead. Assassinate thrown down on Drizz, just trying to get him a little bit lower. Whiffs the Impale completely. Will fall here to a Drizz ult. Nice! Some nice invokes though by W, and now all he needs is a little bit more damage and Drizz will fall. I don't see him getting out of this one. Does Tilt have an ult available? He does not. However, you do have Nathaximus doing his very best. He has picked up that Saint Yasha and Exorcism doing a lot of damage, but there's a complete and utter team wipe, and this is gonna be GG here.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Picks up his Refresher, not sure what he's gonna do with it. I've actually never seen a Refresher on an Invoker in a game I've cast or actually played in. Usually you go for those slightly more core items when you aren't. Slightly more utility items as well. You get your Force Staffs, you get your Earls, of course, and there's the GG by Drizz, and very handed victory for Cupcake at this moment. So very nice play there, and there's the GG. It is indeed gonna explode. Nice game there by everybody, and hopefully not too much stream looking, considering it's a 2-minute delay at the moment. So thanks everybody for tuning in. There's gonna be a slight intermission of, I don't know, I guess it just depends on when everybody's ready for the next game. And then once that happens, of course, stream will start up again. But in between, I'm not going to have anything. Just kind of a rush job. But nonetheless, thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you next time.